Hello, welcome back to the Kllection channel, and welcome back to another installment of Kllection. Yes, it's been a little while since we've done one of these, and therefore if you're not familiar with what Kllection is, well, I'm basically just going to be taking you through some of the wacky and bizarre, crazy oddities and mysteries of which I own in my purview of random ass fucking items and collectibles related to things I like in regards to media, creative media and all that kind of stuff, whether it's games or shows or music or film or whatever. So before I've shown you stuff like some of the comics that I own, I'll probably do a few more of those because I got a metric fuck ton of those. And I've also done some video game consoles and doohickers and stuff that I own. Probably do a few more of those, like maybe some games that I own on disc maybe, I don't know, they're not very crazy or impressive, but you know, I guess I can give you a little bit of a thought on them. I don't know, we'll see what happens. But anyway, if you've read from the title of the video, I kind of wanted to show you all some film stuff that I own. I wanted to show, I've got like a bunch of film tickets that I keep. I keep film tickets whenever I go to see a movie. I've always started doing that a couple of years ago, so sadly there's a lot of like film tickets that I wish I still had, that I don't. Like I went to see 3 Billboards over at Ebbing, Missouri when that came out, which was a really, really good film, but I didn't keep the ticket. But I've got a ticket for a bunch of other films here from all sorts of different cinemas that I've been to all around Scotland, basically. So here's a pile of film tickets that I own. It's not a crazy pile, but you know, it's got a good bit of weight to it, you know, as you can hear from the slapping sound effect there. And yeah, let's just go through some of the film tickets I own and I'll tell you about my experience watching these films. They go back from about maybe 5 years, 6 years now. I wish I had more. I wish there was a lot of films I saw during that period of time where I didn't keep the ticket, because I only decided to start keeping film tickets until like maybe 3 years ago or something like that. I don't know. The narrative will make sense as we look through some of them. This one here is actually the first film ticket I decided to keep. The ink is very faded on it. As you can see, this is from apparently Cineworld, actually. Well, this is actually the IMAX theatre, which is, well, basically, if you don't know what IMAX is like apparently owned by Cineworld. I had no idea, but it's, where is it? I don't know. I think it's like somewhere in Glasgow. I don't go to IMAX very often because it's more expensive, because it's more of a immersive kind of film experience. The sound is like way amped up and it goes all around the cinema, and it's really, really fucking cool depending on what film you're going to see. And for this particular movie that I went to see, it's at the Science Centre, the Glasgow Science Centre, which is a place where you go and look at science things, and right next to the Science Centre is a big like grey silvery dome that looks like a blimp. That's the IMAX theatre, and I've only been there maybe like twice in my whole life, but this is the film I went to see when we went there. That'll be very hard to read probably, and it's not going to focus. Oh, there we go, look. Yeah, you can kind of make out a little bit there. Blade Run. Yes, I went to see Blade Runner 2049 when that film just came out. Approximately the 6th of October 2017. Golly gosh be gosh. So yeah, that would have been about 5 years ago, nearly 6 when it hits October this year in 2023. Yeah, you can see from the price there. Good lord, was that £12.60? It's really hard to focus. It would be a bit easier if the ink wasn't faded, but yeah, that says £12.60. That's a student discount as well, because I was in college at the time when I went to see this, and that's actually the whole reason why I went to see Blade Runner 2049 in the first place, because while I was in college, during that time, there was one of the modules that we were doing, we were studying Blade Runner, the original film with Harrison Ford, which, believe it or not, at that point I'd never seen Blade Runner before. I'm very glad I did, because I love Blade Runner very much. Much more of a, almost like a visual, oh come on man, are you kidding? A visual cinematic experience. That sounds ridiculous when you say that, because all films are, but I mean that in terms of like, it's a very slow film. I think the story is very slow. It's like a neo-noir, kind of almost like an investigative film, if that makes any sense. And a lot of it, the enjoyment factor for me kind of comes from the immersive visual and audio experience they get from watching Blade Runner, like from the music from the late and great Vangelis to, you know, the opening shot and just all the shots of the city and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like where a lot of this film is so good and the story is like almost put to the side in a way. It feels like, you know, the story is obviously a massive part of it, but, you know, if you've ever read the book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, that book almost has like nothing to do with the film, or at least the film is greatly changed from the book, and it kind of feels like a lot of it is kind of garnered, like a lot of the good stuff of the film's like taken from the visuals and the music and all that kind of stuff. And Blade Runner 2049 is very much still in that same vein, but it's definitely much more of an action film. You know, it's still quite slow. It's still a lot more of like a PI neo-noir kind of film, but there's a bit more action involved, especially near the end of the film. Yeah, that's the only reason why I actually went to see this. I don't think I would have seen it any other way, and my oh my, like I said, IMAX is hella expensive. But if there's ever a film that you want to see in IMAX, it was Blade Runner 2049. Good God, what an experience, because that film is very loud. It's got a lot of like, you know, flying machines all around the place and stuff, and in IMAX it feels like it's all around you and you're like in the environment. It was very cool and a very unique experience, and I'm very glad I ended up seeing this. Apparently we're in screen 1. Yeah, it's very annoying that all the ink's kind of faded off. It's probably the oldest film ticket I own at the moment. But yeah, it was really cool. I think a bunch of us from the college decided to go and see it just because we were studying Blade Runner. I was like, why don't we go and see it just for a bit more context, I suppose. But it was very good. It was a very good film. If you've not seen any of the Blade Runner films, do yourself a favour and go and fucking watch them because they're really good. Another one, another IMAX original. Oh no, this isn't IMAX. Another Cineworld original, I should say. My bad. Yeah, you can see why I get confused. These are Cineworld tickets with the stars on them and shit. This is the exact same design. Oh, this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be, I'm going to warn you straight ahead, there is a lot of MCU tickets in here. Obviously, I go and see a lot of Marvel films when they come out, to my shame. Say we want a bit Marvel right now, you know, I'll go and see them. I still follow it despite the fact it's kind of like, yeah, you know, kind of iffy at the moment. But this one is, oh boy, this one is very special to me. Probably one of the hypest moments of my life. This is a ticket for, it's got a little tear because they used to tear them up, or they still do, it depends who you're going with. Avengers fucking Infinity War did when it came out, the 6th of January, February, March, April 2018, midnight release up at Cineworld Parkhead, which is where my good friends, or the old Soup Group crew used to live. We're not in Parkhead, but they lived pretty much like 10 minutes away from Parkhead. If you don't know where that is, it's a place in Scotland. Celtic Football Park is there if you're a footy fan or whatever. But yeah, Avengers Infinity War, you all know about it. This is like when the MCU was at its absolute goddamn peak, when things were happening. This was like one of the most hypest moments of my goddamn life. We all rocked up as the crew. One of my friends, Andy, was one with a car. I think we had 2 people with cars. We all like pulled up as the fucking crew, man, like 2 cars driving down the park. Oh wait, no, that wouldn't be. That'd be when we went to see Endgame. We just walked. We walked to this cinema because, like I said, it's 10 minutes away. I'm getting Endgame and Infinity War mixed up. But yeah, we went there for the midnight release. £7.70 for this ticket. Again, that's a student discount because I was still in college at the time. I think we were probably just about to finish college that year. But man, yeah, come on now. I had to keep this one because it was just like the film we were all waiting for, when, you know, the big climax, the big finale to the MCU at that time. The first 3 phases of the MCU were happening before it all happened, before it broke into like TV shows and just, you know, a new Marvel product every 5 minutes kind of thing. It was still kind of happening at that point in time. Obviously there was a lot of films still coming out. I'm pretty sure there was, I think after Infinity War came out, there was Black Panther and then Captain Marvel that came out. I literally did not watch any of those until Endgame dropped. I actually missed a few films in the MCU until Endgame came out, and then I got caught up and watched everything. But yeah, come on now, Infinity War. I remember it very fondly indeed. And again, this is my favourite Marvel film of all freaking time, dude. We'll get to this on Assembling Marvel Cinema one day when I come out with the first video. But yeah. Yeah, this is one of my fond memory tickets, man. It was just such a hype time, man. Pulling up to Parkhead to watch this sucker as the crew. We had a shit ton of people pulling up for that one, man. Oh, this next one is well, right, this is a randomized pile, I should say. So this is like literally, I got this ticket yesterday. I keep all these in like a big box, a big memory box where I keep like precious items, my jewels, my valuables of memories and stuff, and I keep all my film tickets in there. I literally got this ticket yesterday as of the recording of this video, and this is actually a new cinema here. This is Empire Cinemas, which was my local cinema down in Clydebank where I used to live. This was the main cinema that everyone would go to because it was just right there. And we still go down to Empire Cinemas every now and again, me and my partner, because they're literally the only cinema around us that fucking do buttered popcorn. You know, you can go to Cineworld, you can go to Odeon, all these different places, and they just do popcorn with no frickin' hot melty butter over it. Empire is the only place that does it. I have no idea why. It's not a particularly fancy cinema, you know, it's not got like the big recliner chairs or anything, but they do bar popcorn, so they're kind of the GOAT. But yeah, another Marvel film, I'm afraid to say, ladies and gentlemen, nice and easy to read. Ant-Man and the W, also known as Ant-Man and the Wasp, QUANTUMANIA, 5 PM, $10.99 for a fucking ticket. Yeah, literally, as you can see in the date there, if you can even see that, sorry, my hand's incredibly shaky because I've got dyspraxia. 22nd of February, yesterday. I literally went to see this just yesterday. One of the Marvel films I was kind of actually looking forward to after a long while, but you know, that can be a bit tricky these days because I was looking forward to Thor Love and Thunder when that came out, and that film sucked ass. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, QUANTUMANIA, you know, the Ant-Man trilogy is like pretty, you know, it's not the most amazing trilogy of films in the Marvel cinematic universe. The first Ant-Man film I actually quite like a lot. Ant-Man and the Wasp was pretty okay. And QUANTUMANIA, you know, it was pretty cool. It was just pretty cool. You know, it was a little bit better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I still think the original Ant-Man is actually a bit better. I mean, the whole reason I went to see this was to see Kang the Conqueror pull up. Yeah, very interesting. The pacing of this film is pretty whack. I must say, it's pretty crazy how the pacing of this film works. It's incredibly quick. Everything just flies in. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like... At this point, it feels like MCU films no longer are like standalone films, which they're not. It just feels like a chapter, a B story, like one long-ass B story. That's kind of what QUANTUMANIA felt like to me. And obviously it's a film that suffered because the visual effects artists are just getting used and abused over at Marvel Studios. But yeah, I went to see this literally yesterday, like I said, as a wee date, you know, and occasionally me and my partner do go and see the latest Marvel film in cinemas, and QUANTUMANIA was one of them. And yeah, it was pretty cool, pretty decent, you know, like not my favourite one at all. Again, a little bit better than Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man, the original film, is still pretty better because it feels like a standalone film of its own story. This one literally just feels like a bump in the road, kind of like a side arc thing, which I think that's kind of the comeuppance to the MCU at this point. It feels like just everything is a side on the side leading up to something. But, you know, this one set up some pretty big things, which is the big important thing to me. QUANTUMANIA is like stepping up to be like, right, we're reaching some penultimate point that we all know where the fuck is going to go now because they've announced literally the next 3 phases of fucking Marvel. I guess it's the first film that's in phase 5 because Black Panther 2 was the last. I think that's another ticket I don't have. I went to see Black Panther 2 and I'd never kept that goddamn ticket. I don't know why. It's probably because that film was mid as hell. But I keep everything regardless. But yeah, that's Ant-Man and the Wasp, QUANTUMANIA. The next ticket we have here in my pile of tickets. Oh, it's another Marvel film. Woohoo, yippee yay. This is actually another cinema that I have been to. As you can see here, that lovely orange text. This is a cinema called View. This is actually a more recent cinema that opened up near me. It's in Glasgow again, in a big shopping centre called St Enoch Shopping Centre. And yeah, this time around we just wanted to basically like check it out, me and my partner, because you know it's a new cinema. Wanted to see what it was like and if it's cool or not. It's a very small cinema. The cinema rooms are very tiny. They're about probably I can't even, you know, if you walk in a cinema and the rooms are very big, this one was almost kind of the size of, like, I don't know, like if you go to like some sort of old theater, like theater house kind of thing, you know, it's like a big, I don't know, it's just a relatively small room compared to the ones that you're used to, but they had like the classic, the fancy recliner chairs and stuff that you get like Odeon and stuff like that. We have not found an Odeon ticket yet, but I'm sure I've got one in this pile. I must do. I'd be very surprised if I didn't. But yeah, this is the first and only time that I've been to the View, and this is for like the previously mentioned film Thor: Love and Thunder, Monday the 25th of July 2022 at approximately 2 p.m. Excuse me. Yeah. I mean, primarily the thing is, this film was not very good. I did not like Thor: Love and Thunder very much. Taika Waititi, very good director for the Thor films. Ragnarok's a great film. Don't be rating these films. You shouldn't be rating the Thor films. He's just not very good when it comes to rating a big Marvel, you know, cinema film. You know, he's like, I don't know if he's like trying to become like the James Gunn of the Thor movies, but he's just not that great compared to James Gunn in terms of rating the films. Do you know what I mean? It's just a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. But, you know, it was an interesting experience. View was like okay. It's not my favourite cinema that I've ever been to. It was just alright. You know, it was a very small space. It's interesting enough to try out and go to, but and I guess I don't know if it's maybe cheaper. The thing is, they don't put the price of the price isn't there. I don't know if it's because we pre-ordered these tickets, like the seats and stuff, but yeah, the price isn't on this, so I don't remember how much it was to see a film at the View. It may honestly just be the exact same price, maybe a bit cheaper than Cineworld, because Cineworld prices are mental. But yeah, it was okay. I don't know if I'd recommend View to anyone. I think honestly I have a very bad experience because I remember being there and there was these two women that just would not stop fucking talking the whole time, which made my already kind of middling experience with this film even worse. And I did distinctly remember telling them to shush at least twice, and they fucking ignore me. It's the height of ignorance, ladies and gentlemen, and it's marred my experience of the View. But if you're in the Glasgow area, you know, check it out for yourself, feel free, why not. I'm gonna try and pick one out here that is not a fucking Marvel film, just to break up a little bit. Let's go for this one. This one's pretty cool. Oh, here we go. We got one here. Yeah, this is an Odeon ticket, ladies and gentlemen. Specifically, Odeon Lux, which was like a new thing that they started doing. This one's down at the Glasgow Quay, which is like a bit, you know, kind of like an entertainment kind of area in Glasgow. It's got like a bowling alley and stuff like that in it. I think they've got a casino there, a couple of restaurants, and of course, an Odeon Cinema, which is like another big brand kind of cinema. They have like the big reclining chairs and stuff, hence the name Lux. That's kind of a more recent thing. But this one was for the 29th of July 2020, so just kind of like when COVID was still kind of about. And this was back when like films weren't really coming out because a lot of like productions got halted because of COVID. Odeon started, and I think they still do, they started showing older films. And my partner, who's like not seen a lot of movies in her fucking life, like we went to see Back to the Future, which is our first time seeing it in Odeon. I don't have the ticket for that one, sadly, but we did go and see, if you can read that, hopefully it will go into focus, that'd be really cool. Apologies again for my very shaky hand. It's not going to do it. There we go. It says Batman 1989, ladies and gentlemen, for $5.75, $5 buckaroonies to watch the original Tim Burton 1989 Batman film, because I don't know, it's hard to say now that the Batman's come out, but the 89 film is definitely one of my favourite, like at least the top 3 Batman films of all time. I'm sure a lot of people have got middling opinions on it for many different reasons I've heard. I don't really give a fuck. I think it's stylistically one of the most fantastic Batman films. I think Tim Burton was a very excellent choice of director to do a Batman movie, especially like doing a film in Gotham City. He managed to make it really tight and cramped and bustling and kind of captured that, you know, that kind of like grungy city, you know, big like New York kind of vibe, you know, in films like The Warriors and stuff, and added this little kind of German expressionist whimsy to it kind of thing. This isn't supposed to be a tube review, but you know, I'm talking about it a little bit. and I'd not seen the '89 Batman in a long ass time, and I know that my partner, we went to see The Batman at some point, the ticket's here somewhere, and she loved it, and I was like, oh, that would have been after. Well, you know, I just thought she'd like to see Batman. I was like, why don't we go and see it, you know, go and see a film. And she actually really liked it. I was very surprised. I was kind of iffy on whether she'd like this film or not, because it's a bit more, well, it's not like Batman Returns where it's just balls to the wall Tim Burton, but it's a little bit out there. You know, it's from a certain era, you know, she's just one of these, oh, it's meh. But she actually really liked it. I remember distinctly she was really fascinated by the scene where Batman's in the Batwing and then he flies up into the air and then he's silhouetted against the moon. She loved that. I also still love that very much. It's a great film. One of the best Batman films. Go and see it if you haven't seen it. Also says eye sense. I don't know what that means. If it would focus again, it'd be beautiful. I don't know. I have no idea what eye sense is again. We definitely did not just book to see it. I don't know if it's like some sort of enhanced viewing experience. But you know, I have no real idea, but it was very cool to see Batman, this film on the big screen. It's pretty cool that they do all these older films for people to watch. And, you know, in kind of like a venue that you would not ordinarily get to see after the film comes out. Do you know what I mean? I do love the cinema, hence why I've got these tickets. So, yeah, Batman '89, baby. Pretty sicky from the Odeon. Let's do a bit more of a niche one that I own I think's pretty cool, if I can find it in this pile. And there it is there. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a pretty cool little nifty thing. This is a ticket from the GFT, otherwise known as the Glasgow Film Theatre. And what the GFT is, well, it's in Glasgow, obviously. It's near Buchanan Street. If you're in Scotland, you know exactly what I'm talking about if you're from the Glasgow area. And the GFT, well, basically just kind of screens kind of new films and also kind of like more out there kind of films. People can like book the place out and show films and host festivals and stuff. This is home to the Glasgow Film Festival. I actually, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, when I was in high school, there was a class that I went to in 5th year, so I would have been about 17, and it was media studies, and we actually got to make a short film, and my short film was absolutely horrendous. I really did not like it at all, and we had the honor of getting our film shown like as a class, you know, or you know, as the whole class and all our different films, and our parents and people were just pulling up to watch. Got to screen our films, and my film was up there, and it was a little bit embarrassing to say the least. Yeah, I was 17, but come on, man, I'm not a fan. It's not my proudest moment when we made that film, I'm not gonna lie. That was the first time I went to the GFT, but the second time I went to the GFT, this is the ticket here, we went to see The Man Who Fell to Earth, an 18 rated film. I went to see this with my Mima and my mother because we're both very big David Bowie fans, and David Bowie is obviously the main star of The Man Who Fell to Earth if you haven't seen it before. £6 for this ticket. I went to see it on the 23rd of April 2019. This is the only GFT ticket that I own, but it's pretty cool. It's a cool little cinema experience. Like, it's just a very different thing. If you're in Glasgow and you've been to the GFT, they're always showing shit, man. Just pull up and see something really weird. I just hit my mic. See something a bit bizarre, you know, because the GFT does that. And The Man Who Fell to Earth, boy howdy, is a hell of a weird film. I think it's definitely worth a tube review for The Man Who Fell to Earth, actually. It's a pretty okay film. It's a bit of a cult classic. I didn't really know how I feel about it when I was watching it for the first time. It's a bit of an awkward film I watched with your mum, because there's a few sex scenes in it. So yeah, it was a bit of a bizarre experience, but you know, it was an interesting film. It's a very artsy kind of film. I think it's based on a book, but it was very interesting. I think I actually had a lot of good themes to explore, and a lot of like wants to needs kind of thing for the protagonist, for David Bowie. And it's just a very interesting film from the 70s kind of thing. And if you didn't know, the album cover from Station to Station, I think they actually took that screen grab from a scene in The Man Who Fell to Earth, because I remember seeing the scene and going, holy fuck, Station to Station. It's around that time, I think just before or during the time David Bowie was fucking off his head on cocaine. But yeah, it's a very interesting film. I don't know why it was an 18, I guess because there's like tits, like, you know, boobs on display. The audio mix in this film I remember being fucking weird in the GFT, especially when it was like kissing and like lip smacking, man. You could feel it going into your ear holes, and it was Not a very pleasant experience, I remember. But yeah, it's an interesting experience going to the Glasgow Film Theatre. I would love to go to more often and get more tickets, but I'm glad I've got one for my little pile, my little collection, as it were. Why do we jump back to Marvel here, ladies and gentlemen? Because this is from another different cinema. £9.20 for this one. This is from Showcase Cinemas, which is actually the cinema that's now the most local to me here in Paisley. It's up in a place called Linwood, I believe. And I've been there a few times in my youth. I think I went to see Kung Fu Panda there with my sister when I was a younger boy. And yeah, we went to Showcase Cinema to see the epic conclusion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the time. Avengers, it just says, but it's Avengers Endgame. Another midnight release. I don't know if I'll focus on that to read it. I think it's a bit too... Oh, there we go. Kind of a minute past 12 at midnight. Thursday the 25th of April. Yeah, again, this was the midnight release of Avengers Endgame. I went to see it as soon as it came out. It was a hell of a fucking time because it's a 3-hour experience. I'll get a picture because at the time... So yeah, when would this have been? It doesn't have the year on it, so it would have been, I guess... Oh, there it is. No, it's 2019. Yeah, 2019 we went to see this. Yeah, we got this ticket. It says it was printed at 33 minutes past 11, so it's like half an hour before the film started. But man, fuck, bro. Like, again. See what you want about Marvel now. Even see what you want about it then. But see, at that time, when Marvel was just kind of ramping up and it was come to the epic conclusion that we've been waiting for like years and years and years, it was hype, man. Like, it was a fucking different time when, you know, you can get really fucking pumped up for this shit happening and, like, seeing the epic battle with Thanos and the Infinity Stones coming together. Especially with Infinity War, because it was such a tight-ass film anyway. It was, like, so tightly put together, and even especially because of all the different storylines going together. It's, like, very... The structure of the film is very different. It's not like a free act thing. It's like all over the place, but it comes together so tightly. Well, I don't think Endgame's as good as Infinity War. It was amazing to see the conclusion in the cinema, in midnight release, with all the boys pulling up. This was the film I was talking about earlier, the crew pulling up in 2 fucking cars, driving from Glasgow down to Paisley to see this film. I fell on the floor 3 times afterwards. I'm pretty sure I've got a picture with me and Sammy where I've been pictured lying on the floor, passed out, bruh. Just at the sheer fucking hype. But yeah, Showcase Cinema. This is the ticket for that place there. It's kind of faded out, Paisley Showcase. That's the only Showcase I know of. I don't know if it's like a brand, kind of like Odeon or Empire. But, you know, it's a pretty nifty little cinema. It's not crazy. You know, it's kind of, I guess it's like the equivalent of Empire because there's like no, you know, it's not a deluxe fucking recliner chair experience like we had with Infinity War. But it was a fantastic experience. It was very hype. You know, it was one of those films where people were like, yeah, moments, and that's hype. I love that kind of thing when it's appropriate. Like a Marvel film is appropriate for people to just start yelling and whooping and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's my only ticket from Showcase Cinema, and it was for Avengers Endgame. Wowee. Let's go back to talk about film where we were youping and yelling. Yeah, why not? This is going back to Empire Cinemas another time. I think this might be my last... No, it's my second last Empire Cinemas ticket. How funny is that? We thought about that, yeah, the day we went to see that film yesterday. Anyway, this is for Spider-Man No Way Home. Probably one of the most craziest anticipated moments of my life. The amount of fucking people that came out to see this film. I think this was the day it came out, or maybe at least 2 days after it came out. Yeah, the 11th of December 2021. God damn, bruh. This is the same screen we actually sat in when we went to see Ant-Man yesterday, screen 5, which is quite funny. We thought that as well. $8.99 for this ticket. I was especially excited for Ash, my partner, because she had never had a film experience like that before. The amount of people sitting in the reception area, or whatever it's called, whatever the room's called in the cinema, the foyer, you know, before we went into the cinema. There was so many fucking people there to see that. It was a packed fucking cinema. People were fucking screeching when Andrew Garfield pulled up Tobey Maguire. Yeah, it was probably the worst kept secret in Hollywood. But at that time, I really did not know if it was going to be happening. I don't think they knew either because people were just shrieking, bruh. It was rad. It was a beautiful, fantastic atmosphere coming to see this film. This big, you know, say we want about No Way Home. again, like, it's a really good film, but, you know, the best thing about it is a big fan service piece, and it's a big, you know, celebration of the Spider-Man films, you know what I mean? And it's our first introduction of like, oh, look at this, Marvel can get IPs in from other properties like Sony and stuff, you know, from, you know, films that they didn't even have a part in making, is now rolled into the whole MCU, which is really, really cool. So yeah, that was pretty rad just to witness that. But yeah, that's basically all I can say about it. Spider-Man No Way Home. I had to keep that sucker in it. And I'm going to get this one out of the way really quickly because it's the last Marvel ticket I own, I promise. This is Up at the Empire again. Doctor Strange. This one's a bit faded too. Hopefully it'll focus. That'd be really cool. I would appreciate it. Doctor Strange in. That's all it says. In the Multiverse of Madness. I actually did a tube review of this a while ago, and I was like, I want to review stuff that's just coming out, and then I went, actually, fuck that, I'm not going to do that anymore. But yeah, you can watch that if you want to see my thoughts on the film, really. This is interesting because you can actually see how the rate for the prices went up. This film obviously came out December 2021. $8.99 for a ticket. And Doctor Strange came out on the 8th of April. No, May. And the 8th of May 2022. And it's $9.99 for a fucking ticket. So it went up a whole fucking pound over the space of under a year. Don't know how that happened. Maybe we should actually look and see how the prices have increased over time here. Just for a quick comparison. Yeah, look at this. Oh my god, no way. This is ridiculous, right? $8.99 for No Way Home in 2021. Okay? $9.99 for Doctor Strange in 2022. Yeah? $10.99, so went up another fucking pound again in 2023. So it's actually crazy how quickly it's going up. Technically, this is 11 quid. Technically, this is £10. Technically, that's 9, but you can see how it's going up exponentially. This is our final ticket from Cineworld. It says IMAX, but I don't think we did see this in IMAX. I don't think so. No, this is Renfrew Street. I guess this is the Odeon up at the Quay again, maybe? I don't know which Odeon this is, but this is for the Batman, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually the first one I did a tube review for. Probably my favourite Batman film at the moment. It just captures everything I love about Batman pretty succinctly. 4:30 PM at the 5th of March 2022. So this is actually going to be nearly a year old since we saw this. Which is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't have much to say about this one either. Just like, yeah, here's a ticket that I own in my pile of tickets. Finally, this is the last ticket that I own. This is a pretty cool one too. This is basically, well, I'll show you. This is the biggest ticket I own. This is a ticket I got for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is still one of the greatest films I've ever fucking seen. You can watch the tube review for that. I did a review of this one. This was down at Dundee that I saw this, where my friends live. Down at the Dundee Contemporary Arts Cinema, apparently. £8 to see it, bro. Like, god fucking damn, I'd be paying way more elsewhere. This was at the 28th of May 2022 at 8 PM. So yeah, I got to see it with my chums, and that was really cool. Probably one of the coolest tickets I own. I want to be able to own more tickets like this, like unique cinemas and stuff, like Showcase and I guess View and the GFT and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool ticket. Probably one of my favourites I got just because it's so fucking huge and it's a bit like plasticky paper, you know, thicker paper type, beating glossy paper, you know. So I guess in total, how many cinemas have I been to? I've been to the Dundee Contemporary Arts, that's one. Been to, oh, this is Cineworld, not fucking Odeon. Cineworld, I saw it in Cineworld, that's 2. I've been to Empire, that's 3. Been to Showcase Cinemas, that's 4. GFT, that's 5. And I've been to The View, that's 6. And finally, I've been to a few Odeons, but I've been to the Odeon, so that's 7. So yeah, that's pretty neat, right? If I could spread these out and do something pretty cool. So yeah, that's fucking 7 different cinemas I've been to, 7 different film tickets. Pretty neat, pretty epic, pretty sick. I'm very much looking forward to looking over these in many, many decades into the future because, yeah, like I say, I love the cinema. I don't care what anyone says. I know it's kind of a taboo these days. Fucking everyone can just watch on a streaming service and stuff, but, and you know, you get more leeway at home, how you react how you want, but it's like, damn, you know, at the end of the day, you know, an experience like Infinity War or Endgame or No Way Home. You know, I know I'm talking about largely Marvel films there, but again, films like Blade Runner 2049, like IMAX and stuff, or Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm so fucking glad I got to see that on the big screen. It's just a different experience getting to see it in a big room with contemporaries and getting this connected experience of like watching a thing. You know what I mean? Even if you're not talking to them, you know you walked out there and everyone's like taking something different from what they've just seen, especially if it's like not a Marvel film, which is like, you know, the dime a dozen something like that kind of films, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's basically all she wrote. I just kind of wanted to show you some tickets, you know, like a big ass pile of memories that I have. It really bums me out that I don't have more. Trust me, I've been to way more. Obviously, I've been to more films in the past 5 years. Like I mentioned, 3 Billboards and just movies like that I wish I'd fucking remembered to keep the goddamn ticket, because, you know, this is just the marking point. Like, these are the films I've seen as a cinematic experience that I can look back on and like keep, you know, in my old age and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just something nice about that, because, you know, I love creative media, I love films, and I love the cinema experience. And who fucking knows, man, like the next 50 years time we may not even have a cinema anymore, bro. It might just be a dead fucking concept, and instead it'll be like, I don't know, independently run things, you know? You just don't know where it's going to be in this climate of how to, you know, watch media and content and how it's distributed and what it's made for and stuff like that. It's just, it's a very different landscape to how it was not even like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. It just was, you know, it wasn't that at all. And I watched an interesting thing where it's like a lot of films that you would have traditionally seen in, as you know, in the box office or in the cinema don't get made anymore because they're not for that kind of thing. A lot of films are made for cinema now. They're made for streaming services and stuff. And whether that's for good, bad, or ill, I don't know yet. But, you know, I know that for one. I know for one thing that I do love the cinema. I love the cinematic experience. I love drive-ins and just stuff like that. It's good, it's fun, and I love them very much. And I just want to make sure I keep all these tickets and go as many different cinemas as I can and add them to the pile. Because I've got 7 so far, 7 different cinemas anyway, and I'd love to add more on. That's a good point. In the comments below, feel free if there's any cinemas in Scotland that are easy enough to get to, that are worth going to, that you would recommend I haven't been to. So not the Dundee Contemporary Arts, not the GFT, not the View, not the Odeon, not Empire, not Cineworld, and not, what's the other one that I said? Showcase. Yeah, none of those 7. One somewhere else. I'm very keen and interested in expanding my experience out with cinemas and theatres and stuff like that. Theatres? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, that's a little short and sweet video. Film tickets that I own. I wish I had more, like I said, to show you, because I have been to some more films and stories to talk about them and stuff, but alas, I didn't fucking keep them because I'm a dumbass. But, you know, that's the way she blows, baby. Thank you very much for tuning in to this new installment of Kllection. Just a nice little simple video. Just wanted to throw out to be, you know, I'm still making content. Obviously, because it's been very busy in university and stuff, I'm back and it's ramping up and things are happening over there, man. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in to this little installment of Kllection. Thank you all very much for watching the YouTube channel anyway. Yeah, it's been kind of, well, one certain video has been blowing up anyway. Thank you all for watching the Threads review. Jesus Christ, the comments been very fun to read, and yeah, I read all of them. You know, as you may see, I heart them all because I want you all to know that I am reading them. So yeah, thanks very much for that. I appreciate it. And thank you very much for watching this installment of Kllection. Thank you for tuning in to Coleman. I will see you with some more content. I don't know whether it's going to be a tube review. Some tube reviews I'm fighting about. You know, you'll see it happen, man. Freaking criminy. Goodbye.